the block here I have created just for our first print, so I've taken away everything except for the butterfly contour, the shape of the butterfly. So I've removed all of the outside. You'll need a brayer or brayer. I've heard it called both names. You will need some ink. We're going to start out with a color to begin with, and then we're using this half of a box to register our artwork, and you'll understand that in a little bit, as well as some printer paper. Okay, we're going to start by putting a bead, which just means a small amount of ink, down on our tray. I'm using a piece of cardboard. You can use an actual tray if you want to, or as I'm doing a cardboard piece like that. So you can see I added a bead along here, and I'll take my brayer and start rolling it in the ink. And I like to go both directions, so I'll go this way to begin with and then that way. Now, it's smart to have a piece of paper down or scratch paper or something that's protecting your table, your space. And now I'm going to grab my block and add the ink across here. So I'll just go like this. Now you can see my first swipe, I didn't get everything. So I'll go back to my ink up, and then come back to my block and maybe go in a couple of different directions, trying to get all spaces. Now, in order to make the brayer work, you need to hold lightly, so I'm holding barely on with my hands. I'm not pressing hard. Nice and gentle. Now I'm going to use this box. This is going to help me register. Register means to get the print in the right place both times. So I'll place my block in the corner as tight as I can, and then on my piece of paper I should have an arrow and my name on the back part. So it should look like this. The arrow is pointing to the corner of my box. I want to carefully press this in all the way into the corner and then let it go so that it falls onto my block. Now I'll take my hands and carefully rub along all parts of my block. Even if there's parts that I didn't put the ink, I still want to take my fingers and make sure that everything gets pressed on. So I'm just gently rubbing on the entire back of the piece of paper. Then I'm holding down the block, holding my artwork, and what I'm seeing right now is that I didn't have enough ink on here. So now I know for next time I need to add a little ink, and I think I was going a little too slow doing this demonstration. Most of our prints are looking something like this when we're done. This is just the first one. Now we're going to go back, carve into our block again, and do a second print in a similar fashion. Now what I'm doing, I have already printed with this. Now I'm putting in and getting ready for my second print. So I'm drawing the lines and the shapes that I see on my butterfly. So you can see me taking my black Sharpie and placing them in the correct places. Most of the time if I draw it over here, I try to draw it right over on the other side to make it as symmetrical as possible. So I see both of these. I also see kind of a circle here and a circle here. I'm going to give this a thicker edge along this edge as well. Now when I go into carving again, or cutting the block a little bit, I'm going to leave everything that is black. I'm going to leave that there. Using a Sharpie marker, nothing should come off when I'm printing. I'm just going to come in here and get rid of all the, in my case, tan. So we'll leave the black behind. Okay, begin, we're going to repeat ourselves by adding a bead of ink onto our piece of paper or our tray. In my case, I'm using cardboard. And I'm going both directions on the ink. This is called inking up your brayer. And then I have my, now I've cut away all of the gray here, or the white, and all that remains is the black from my Sharpie. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Okay, now I'm going to take the plate and do the same thing that I did before. So I'm putting it right into the corner of my box, pushing it up far. And I'm actually going to print a kind of a bad one to begin with. This is kind of my test. Remember, we had that arrow. That arrow is going to go up into the corner. So I'll place it up into the corner. And then I need to gently press on my entire piece of paper again, making sure that the paper isn't moving and that just my fingers are moving along the piece of paper and along the back of it. When I peel this off, I will have my butterfly. Oh, there it is. So I like the way that this turned out. I like how I inked it up. It's pretty registered, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of mine that were a little bit of a better print the first time.